Welcome back, Blade fans. This old sword is with you once again. Yes, and once again, the good people out at Vosteed have sent me a knife for review. And this happens to be one that is on Kickstarter. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't the Vosteed knife. What do we got on the table? Oh, well, this is the other pivot locking knife that I have reviewed. This is the Yue PLXT, and the reason I have this out first is to give you the contrast that yes, this is a button lock, but an entirely different, button pivot lock, done a little bit differently. And I don't have schematics or ways to make it in focus. I don't have anything to show you on hand that shows you the inner workings of this button pivot lock. But the one I'm going to show you is way different in the entire design and mechanics of it. It's pretty crazy. This is a nice little knife. Like it, haven't carried it too much. It is, as with most button pivot locks, very easy and fidgety to open and close. I'll bring that back in a little while, but let's bring out the star of today's show. Yes, and this is the Ankylo. And the Ankylo, or Ankylo, however you want to pronounce it, is short for Ankylosaurus, another dinosaur. The Talarurus, I think, was the one I did recently that was a nice little, what was it? It was a nice little button lock. Yeah. No, it was a top lock. Top lock. Okay. I'll tell you, Vosteed has been knocking it out of the park. They've been in overdrive with their designs lately. So this is the V-Anchor, also called Vancor lock, V-Anchor, because of the way it locks up. And there's lots to describe about that. By the way, this is a little larger knife, which I like, than the PLXT by Yue. There's a great deal of information. This has been initiated through Kickstarter. And as far as I know, they're still fulfilling the Kickstarter orders. Whether or not this will come out onto the open market so you can just go to your favorite online shop and select it and buy it, I am not sure. But I'm going to read you a little bit from the Vosteed website. Bear with me if I go on a little bit too far, but I do want to get some of the salient details. Dr. Yue, Y-U-E, is the brainchild person, the master of design behind all of the Vosteed knives. And he is doing a great job. I'm going to show you the screenshot. Oh, there's a knife. This is the Kickstarter website for Vosteed. And there's a little bit there. I'm going to read some of it, but not go on and on and on and on if I can help it. They say, we take ergonomics seriously. The 6061 aerospace grade aluminum for the ultimate weight to strength ratio. They did tons of tests to find the most comfortable shape, and it is indeed ergonomic and comfortable. Precision machined weight relief pockets inside. We'll take a look at that a little later. And aluminum handles reduces user fatigue. Exactly how, I'm not sure, but G10 might do the same thing. Here's something interesting. They use an N52 neodymium cylindrical magnetic connector. Oh, say that 10 times. Is inserted inside the lock shaft to ensure that the button is recessed even when the blade is in a closed position. And that button is flush with that surround that they give you that looks like stainless, so that any amount of pressing on that in your pocket is not going to open the knife. So that's an interesting thing that I don't think the Riot has. They're not using magnets in that. So they're saying a pivot with double functions. Pivot is also the button, a knife with a new lock mechanism, a knife with tons of fun factor, a knife with a comfortable design, a knife with a secure lockup. That was their goal. It took them 27 months of hard work to produce this. It is a 3.18-inch Bowler LMAX blade. That is heat treated to 60 plus or minus 2 is what they're saying. It's a blade material that combines excellent edge retention, high wear resistance, good corrosion resistance, high toughness, and ease of sharpening. You may agree or disagree with that depending upon your favorite blade steels. Maybe LMAX is amongst them. So the V anchor lock, let's see if I can get you something about that. And by the way, there's like a smiley face there, maybe by accident. It's got the smile there, but it's also got the rest of the head there. However you want to look at that, but you got the double screws there. There was a breakdown of this knife, and I can't remember who did it, but it was a great breakdown. If I can send you the link to that one too, I will. You know, I can get kind of hung up here with the talking about all the features of the knife and the V anchor, but there's a quick screenshot. I'm probably going to double up with my own measurements, but that is all of the specs right there. Well, let's talk a little bit about what the knife is just on the surface. You know, as a user, you may not want to know everything that's going on inside of it. And there's your pockets. Let's see if I can get a little light shining in there. And also see if we can show you the V anchor lock without breaking it down. Let's get the light going here. So there's your pockets inside the aluminum. So it's solid aluminum construction. The aluminum is, in case you need to know, but I think it was in the specs. I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, folks. Let's not blather on, shall we? I'll get criticized for it. Long run of jimping, practically speaking. Really smooth open and close. And it's probably due to that magnet engaging. Fidget-wise, you can press the button and gravity flip this open. You do need to give it a good, it's on the soft side, but there's enough of a spring there to where if you don't push it deep, it's not going to swing out. And there you go. This is a prototype that was sent to me, as I said, by Vosteed. So there is the prototype marking. There is your LMAX marking. And there is the name of the company. Very low-level branding, at least on this prototype. I've noticed that there's about 5 or 6 different models. Again, I'll send you links to everything. This becomes some good jimping down there should you want to choke up. And what ways do we have of opening this? Well, we've got the back flipper. We've got swinging it out with the pivot lock that I'm not too good at. We have the opening hole, which you can middle finger flick very easily or open, see, roll it out with the thumb. This thumb's still getting into action here after some surgery about 4 months ago, but I can easily front flip it, excuse me, with the left hand. Flat aluminum, a little on the chalky side. It's not my favorite finish, but I think they are going to offer some other finishes that have a little more gloss to them, I think. And we'll take a look at that if we can. How about this locking mechanism? Let's see if it's possible to show you the locking mechanism. And it may be able to do it, may not be able to do it. Let me try closing it. No. There we go. So probably the best way to see the locking mechanism is to break it down. Being unfamiliar with the knife and having had it arrive just a couple days ago, I'm not going to do that. But you can see the V anchor lock moving down in there on the right side of the knife. What happens is that it engages a slot on the left side or the right side of the knife, actually, that goes all the way through the tang. And it's this kind of shape, like a trapezoid with a flat end, that fits right in that slot. The result is just no movement. Then again, on a button lock, for instance, you're not going to get a lot of movement. On axis locks, you're not going to get a lot of movement. But they're saying this is just super solid and even beyond some of that. Quick measurements, since you already got them in that screenshot. 7 3/4 inch overall. And as I said, like a 3.15-ish overall length. You're right, I already gave you the specs, but it helps to have them sort of laid out here. 0.55, we're going to call that across the handle. And blade thickness, 0.12 millimeters, 3.2 millimeters. And the weight, you're waiting for the weight? Yes, you are. Okay. Close it up, and in ounces, 4.9 ounces. So it does have kind of a solid feel to it, we'll say, in a positive way. It's not a heavy knife. It's under 5 ounces, just under 5 ounces, but feels good in the hand. Got a balance point right about there, just behind the pivot. Right there. Not bad. So it's going to feel a little blade heavy because of where you need to put your finger there, but you can walk your finger up and go forward on it there. You've got enough jimping to where you can press down with your finger for your precision cuts. Just for the heck of it, not that it's meant to necessarily, but it does feel comfortable in point down, edge out. Lines up very nicely. So again, 3-way opening, hole opening, front flipper, back flipper, 4 ways really, and the pivot. And that is just so smooth, I've got to tell you. It has kind of a dull thud when it closes. And don't know that we want to test an edge on a prototype, but what the heck. It is a high flat grind. So very likely we're going to have a good edge. Oh, we are. I think that's sharp. I think they gave us a sharp one. So I thank the folks at Vosteed for providing the prototype. I know they're kind of hard to come by. A few of these came out to reviewers about a month ago or so. This being May of 2023 that this is dropping. I guess we call that a reverse tanto. You could call it a kind of a Warncliffe clip, or I guess most folks are going to kind of resort to the reverse tanto terminology. It's got a very nice belly there for slicing. And let's bring out the PLXT again just for size compare. One extra feature that the Riot PLXT has is this additional backup lock. So with that forward, you cannot push the button and it's very solid. With that back, you can drop it very easily. This one has really only one mode of opening. Well, two, because yeah, you can press the button and flip it open. But you can see it's a smaller knife, considerably. You know, I felt it was a little too small for me to get started. Overall, an inch longer on the Ankylo. And the handle about a ½ inch longer or so as well on the Vosteed. Little different sort of treatment of the blade. We got a drop point going on here. Got a nice bronze Cerakote, if that's what they used. Can't recall. And we've got a nice micarta handle as opposed to the aluminum. It's still a cool little knife. I'd love to see Riot come out with an XL version. I think that would be a big hit. Here's a different type of locking mechanism from Vosteed. This is their top liner lock, something they've been doing a lot of lately. And I'll be showing you the raccoon in a top liner lock, which is their latest iteration of that design. This is what is this? This is the hedgehog. I'm losing track of all the names. They're turning out so many of them. They sent me 3 at once, and still working on a review for one more. This is a shorter knife, again, than the Ankylo by about the same amount as the Riot was. If I can squeeze them all in there. So it's right about the same size as the Riot PLXT. This hedgehog is. And this has got kind of a cleaver blade, I would call it. This locking system's quite nice. The top liner lock. Let's see if there is anything else here on the Vosteed website that you should take a quick peek at. You'll see this if you follow the link I'm going to give you, but there are the colors. This is the Kickstarter site. And down here somewhere, there's some of the features. Here is a little animation of a expanded view. Can't really see the anchor lock that well. I thought there was one somewhere in here where they do show you, isolate that mechanism. And, you know, a lot of this is just fluff to promotional stuff. There's kind of the sketch of where it started and how it came to be. Oh, here's the plastic prototype and the finished knife there. And there's even a paper cardboard cutout. There's your specs again. Cage ceramic ball bearings. There's almost nothing they didn't put into this knife. It is really kind of space age. I know there are other knives out there using some very interesting modern lockup mechanisms, you know, with magnetics and with the push button on the top and so on and so forth. Of course, we do know about the shark lock and some of those that have been put out there by Civivi. It's a cool knife. The only thing is, again, you can't just pick up your phone and order it online just yet. You got to join the Kickstarter. I am hoping that maybe by summer, June, July, that you'll be able to simply straight out order these. I know they're in full production at the moment. But a beautiful and interesting knife, the Ankylosaurus from Vosteed. Great job, and don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. I'll be back soon. Take care.